Welcome back, True Seeker. This stream is yet again about how rigged the world of professional sports is and how the fans really need to wake up to it. Again, right now you have people going into these football stadiums blind to the evil that is connected to these leagues, including the constant ritual sacrifice. And for the people leaving the false comments in the chat, please refrain from commenting again because I will block people who leave false information like this comment right here. This is blatantly false what's left in the chat. Yes, the 49ers did pick up their 666th franchise win tonight. You're probably looking at StatMuse, which only counts their stats from 1950 when they joined the NFL. The thing is, the 49ers are older than the date they joined the NFL. Tonight, they picked up their 666th win, which is a big point of this stream. And they did it by scoring 36 points, again, in the land of the Beastquake, where they've paid tribute to that 666 number many times before. And we're going to draw on the parallels between the 49ers win tonight and Marshawn Lynch's Beastquake. Marshawn Lynch, who once played in the Bay Area for Cal. And we're also going to talk about what they did in the MLB. What they did in the MLB. Nice little 2-for-2 night in the MLB. A perfect script paying tribute to the Royal family again with the Royals. Something we've been talking about since it happened in the 111th World Series when the Royals won in the time of the Queen, who was born on the 111th day of the year. But again, just coming back to the fans who go into these stadiums, who pay these crazy prices to park for the tickets, for the food, for the drink, and seemingly are oblivious to all the evil that is really connected to these games, including the constant ritual sacrifice of players, which is just rampant. And I don't know how more people don't catch on. So many young players die connected to these leagues while they're in the league and shortly after they get out. And almost nobody seems to blink an eye. It's almost like there's some kind of spell cast over the populace. And it goes beyond just the sports games. Right now, so many people are getting ready to go vote in rigged selections, as rigged as these sports games are, where both the candidates who you're being made to choose from have plenty of ritual sacrifice connected to them. Don't forget how the wrestler Kamala, born James Harris, just dropped dead 2 days before Kamala Harris was named the VP nominee. Don't forget how the same day Trump came out and said he'd run in the next election, which was the 60th, he made that statement exactly 60 weeks into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year. Later that same day, his ex-wife falls down the stairs and dies. And that was 45 years after they got married. Yeah, StatMuse is a trash website. And that's why when you're in the chat just spouting ignorance, it's super annoying. Okay? So don't apologize. Just don't be an ignorant, annoying person in the future. Again, you want correct football stats, go to Football Reference. And this will update tomorrow. But it does get annoying just how many dummies are always in the chat leaving comments that are just completely false because you guys don't know how to look up stats, because you don't know where to look up stats. That's not true. He didn't get that touchdown number. I'm always reading these dumb comments when I'm making videos. And I'm like, can you just shut up? I mean, you're wrong. You don't know how to look up stats. You don't know how to count numbers. You don't understand that on Pro Football Reference, there's a regular season category and a postseason category, and you got to add them together to get the correct number. But it's just always the same thing from the dummies out in the stands who should just be quiet and observe the person who knows what they're talking about. Okay? I don't mean to come across as an asshole, but sometimes you got to be one when there's so many dummies in the world just chirping away about things they have no idea what they're talking about. So, again, the 49ers tonight. The 49ers. This will update tomorrow. They have 626 regular season wins, 39 in the postseason. That was coming into tonight. When this updates, you'll see that tonight they picked up their 627th regular season win, plus 39 in the postseason. That's 666. And again, how many points did they score tonight? By the way, look at the WNBA. The WNBA is scripted as the NBA. What big NBA star just went from Minnesota to New York right before you get this for your championship. By the way, I was calling out all WNBA season why it looked like the Liberty would be in the finals because they were syncing it up with Kamala Harris and the rigged selection. But anyway, the Niners score 36 tonight. 666 is the 36th triangular number. If you add 1 through 36, it equals 666. Okay? You add 1 through 36, you equal 666. Here, I just don't want to read your comments anymore. I don't want to read your comments anymore. Adios. No, I get annoyed like almost every time I look at my videos, and the only comments, all I'm reading there are the words of dummies. I get in the chat, first comment, they didn't get 666 tonight. Dude, just shut up. And now I don't have to read your comments. Blocked. No, I'm just so tired of living in a world of dummies, you guys. I got like zero tolerance for it. Zero tolerance for it. Just shut up. Learn your place. God. They didn't get 666 tonight. Yeah, they did. And they scored 36 points to boot. Okay? See, if you'd shut up and listen, you could end up like this. Too many of you guys are yapping your trap and not listening. Constantly out there. You never post anything. You never post anything before the games. You only do these videos after the game. Are you guys listening to any of the videos? In every video, I'm saying sign up for the Patreon. That's where we talk about things before the game. Here's somebody who was in the live stream tonight on Patreon. He took in the information. He turned $5 into $1,205 tonight. Okay? He wasn't sitting there arguing with teacher and going, no, that's not true because here I looked up the stats the wrong way and actually I got this number instead. I had some callers like that tonight. I had one guy call in and he's like, Zach, you're getting way too complicated with the 666th win. He's brand new to the work. He's been here for like 6 months. Calls in and annoys me like almost every live stream, has no listening skills. And I'm like, what's complicated about the 666th win to start week 6 in the land of the Beastquake? Here, let's go back to the documentation. See, this is the product of being here every single day for over 11 years documenting. Let's go back to Russell Wilson, what I documented with his nice little 666 tribute once upon a time. This was September 22nd, 2019. This guy's calling in tonight before I can even finish making this point. He reminds me of the guy that I just blocked. He's like, he can't even listen to the point that's being made, trying to argue why he likes the Seahawks more. Okay? Like I told him, okay, then just go bet on the Seahawks then. But again, they don't play around with 666 in Seattle, the city on the 47th parallel where the Beastquake happened. Again, let me take you back to this game between the Seahawks and the Saints. I still remember the way they were playing with the fans. They show this highlight of the Beastquake because, again, it was a rematch of the Saints and Seahawks in Seattle. And the Seahawks were, this is Seahawks were having trouble moving the ball until this point in the game. You can see they're down. They're down a lot at this point. But anyway, they show this highlight of the Beastquake. And then they come back immediately from the Beastquake, and the Seahawks have this huge offensive play just going right down the field. Looks like they might score a touchdown, but at the end of the play, he doesn't quite make it there, and the ball gets punched out, and the Saints pick it up. And I can't remember if the Saints ran it all the way back for a touchdown or they ran it back almost all the way for a touchdown and then scored the next play. It was something like that. But anyway, so the Seahawks get the ball back after that, but realize how they just messed with the fans, right? And this is what the National Fixed League is. It's meant to play with your emotions. The National Fixed League, they're giving you this great highlight, this great memory if you're a Seahawks fan. Then the highlight ends and you're getting this awesome play. And then all of a sudden, instead of scoring, it's like a total reversal in the other team scoring, which is essentially a 14-point swing in the game. And then, so anyway, the Seahawks get the ball back, and then they go down the field and score. And as soon as Russell Wilson runs in the touchdown, and I've made this point for years, how does the NFL have these stats just ready to go in an instant? It's like, okay, who's the stat wizard who just knew to put that up right at this second? He figured that out in 5 seconds? As soon as Russell Wilson went in the end zone in this game, they put it up down here on the bottom of the screen. 17th career regular season rushing touchdown, first since November 26, 17, right? So I remember in real time, I was trying to do it in my head. I was like, God, that's close to 666 days. Because again, this happened September 22nd, 2019. So then I punch it in the calculator. I'm like, look at that. 666 days right after they showed the Beast Quake. And again, same point I'm making. Beast is 47. Seattle up on the 47th parallel. MLB All-Star game that was in Seattle in 2023. Remember the AL lost. They stayed on 47 wins in the All-Star game. You see how Seattle's also on the 122nd meridian. Satanic equals 122, just like San Francisco, which is also on the 122nd meridian where the Church of Satan was established. National Football League also equals 122. Today's game where the Niners got their 666th win was 122 days before the Super Bowl. But notice, Marshawn Lynch equals 66, like number of the beast. Go to the NFL website or the NFL Rewind website where you can watch all NFL games for free after they're over. Watch how right at the beginning of the game, they put up a stat about how Brock Purdy has a 66% completion percentage for the year. Keep in mind, Kyle Shanahan, the Niners coach, came into the game with 66 wins tonight. Kyle Shanahan came in with 66 wins. And then they put up a stat, something about Joey Bosa having the second fastest reaction time from the snap of the ball, and it was 0.67 seconds. The word satanic is 67. Here, again, I just said it's 122 for people who don't get confused. Satanic equals 67 when you run the alphabetic order forwards, 122 when you run it in reverse. Tonight, Shanahan gets his 67th win, 122 days before the Super Bowl. Both cities on the 122nd meridian against San Francisco, where the Church of Satan was established. You see how Satanic's 122 and 50? Look at San Francisco, 122 and 50. Again, home of the Church of Satan. And let's see, what else was it here? For Russell Wilson, this little ritual came 68 days before his birthday. Seattle, Washington number. What was the point I was making about Teddy Bridgewater at the time? Oh, he was facing Teddy Bridgewater. That's what it was. I see. Okay, but anyway, just the point is 666, Beast Quake, city on the 47th parallel. Again, when the AL stayed on 47 wins, that game was July 11th, 2023. The NL ended its 11-game losing streak to the AL on the 11th as well. And look at the word beast. You might have noticed the end of the game, they got the clock for one last kneel down with 11 seconds left if you were paying attention in the Niners game. And again, really, it's just par for the course. Both teams become 3-3 to start week 6. And remember who's doing the script. It's the Jesuits. Today's 33 days before the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, Arturo Sosa, born November 12th. Both teams become 3-3. And, you know, you flip over to the MLB. MLB, nice 2-for-2 day today. Cleveland became 44-39 away, winning their game today. Detroit equals 44. Tigers equals 39. 44-39 away, surviving for game 5. And we pointed out that if both road teams won today, it would make home team records for the entire playoffs 11-14. And think about that too. You guys, there's no home field advantage. Like all you Seahawks fans who wear your little Fan 12 shirts because you think you have some impact on the game, you have zero impact on the game. Again, if you don't know, the Seattle Seahawks fans, they all wear jerseys that say 12 with the word fan on it, and they have no idea about gematria and how fan equals 12. But again, you have zero impact on the script of the game, literally zero. And you just see it year after year, just losing records at home field. And think about it. I mean, just that they love to crush the home field fans. But anyway, the reason it matters that the home team records are 11-14 after the Yankees beat the Royals is because yesterday the Yankees picked up the 330th win, 330 days after King Charles' birthday, which is 11-14. And today they picked up the 331st win over the Royals 331 days after King Charles' birthday. And if you look up the Royals manager, Matt Quartaro, or however you say his last name, he has the same birthday as the King. And remember, this is just like when the Royals beat the Mets in the 111th World Series. That was in the time of the Queen. The Queen's birthday was the 111th day of the year. They beat New York, which equals 111. They beat them on November 1st. Matt Harvey got pulled in that game after his 111th pitch, after Eric Hosmer knocked in the first run against him, coming up to the plate with a 111 batting average. Scripted, box scores, final scores, dates, outcomes, undeniably scripted year after year. When you go to these games, you might as well understand you're going to a theatrical play. You know, again, like people with lower IQs, they're like, well, why do they work so hard then just to play in a scripted game? It's just like, have another beer, dumbass. Do people work hard to also be in the theater stage, to perform in Broadway, to become the Denzel Washington of Hollywood? Oh, they do. Oh, so there is a talent to performing a script, to being an actor, to being an athletic actor. Again, the reason more people don't gravitate towards the work is really because of the abundance of low IQs out there. Just like the guy had to ban in the beginning. I might look like an asshole, but I just get sick of every time I click on one of my videos, all I see in the comments or when I look out to the live chat is chatter from morons. I just get sick of it. Not to say that everybody in the live stream or leaves a comment a moron, but that's mostly who does leave comments. It's just like, God, can these people just shut up? Can you learn how to look up a statistic? Can you not blab your mouth and put out more false information? Don't you see, by putting out false information, you're undermining what I'm doing? I'm staying up late to present something so that the next Christian family who takes their whole family to the game so that they can understand that they shouldn't be there. They shouldn't be in this satanic building with these overpriced bullshit, a season that's based on the latest ritual sacrifices and the latest tribute to literally Satan and the numbers from the Bible. It's the same thing over and over. Here, I challenge anybody to go back and watch the Thursday night football broadcast from the beginning, being aware of what I'm talking about. Did the announcer not have to blurt out right at the beginning of Thursday night football? Let me know if it's true or false, because I pick up on all this because I'm aware. Go back and watch the game and tell me if not right at the beginning of the game did he have to blurt out that it's 55 degrees tonight. I mean, you're watching this in real time and you know what's going on. You're like, well, it looks like we're good for the 666 tribute. Next thing you know, Geno Smith's lofted one to number 6 to start the game. Understand, you guys, Geno Smith's not a bad quarterback. You don't know who the best quarterbacks are in the National Fixed League because these guys have to fulfill a script. And poor Geno, it was his birthday, too. He had to go out there on his birthday and look like an asshole. And again, is it not 35 Thursday? Did the camera not follow around number 35 tonight all night? Did he not have the big tackle at the end of the game for 35 Thursday? Did he not score the first points of the game? Are we not talking about 35 and Thursday every week? Again, it's because Thursday is 35. And no doubt there's something to the score being 60 total points when the Niners, notice the Niners win on Gavin Newsom's birthday, who used to be the mayor of San Francisco, who's the governor of California. It was also Gavin Newsom's birthday. He's part of that satanic Jesuit cabal. And their next game's on Kamala Harris's birthday, who sucked their way to the top. She sucked Willie's Willie all the way to the top. She's going to turn 60 points before the Niners play on Kamala's 60th birthday. Right before the 60th election, when she started dating Willie Brown, when he was 60 years old and she was in her 20s. And again, I mean, remember what we told you week one? Week one, we said the Niners should win by 12. They ended up winning by 13. But if you took them for 12 plus, you were good to go, as the Niners picked up their 12th all-time win versus the Jets. The passing of the torch from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris was exactly 123 days after Willie Brown's birthday. When the Niners beat the Jets, they became plus 123 in scoring versus the Jets all time. Again, Freedom, the Beyonce song that was given to Kamala, the same day that Chuck Schumer endorsed Kamala 123 days after his birthday, on and on and on. Again, rigged sports, rigged politics, all controlled by the same Jesuit Masonic cabal. But yeah, again, in the night that and remember, I put that one out for free for you guys too. I said the Niners will beat the Jets and make home teams 11-5 in week 1, like the elections on 11-5. That week, Tim Walz's Minnesota Vikings and Kamala's San Francisco 49ers beat the 2 New York teams when Trump's the New York guy. Remember, right before the VP debate, Tim Walz equals 40, JD Vance equals 40, forward equals 40. The games right before, forward's the state motto for Wisconsin, where Kamala spent part of her life. It's also her motto for the election. But the game right before the VP debate was Minnesota versus Green Bay. JD Vance was picked as the VP nominee in Wisconsin. What happened? The Vikings became 4-0 versus the Packers. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't Darnold also 40? Yeah, Darnold's 40. And, so is Rodgers, who used to be over there on the Packers. But yeah, again, not only do they get 666, the 666th franchise in the Beast Quake Stadium, but they had to score 36 points. And again, 666 is the 36th triangular number, which means if you add 1 through 36 together, it equates to 666. And let me see where they put it on here. Derek's calculator is easier for identifying these things. Here, I'll just use Derek's calculator. It's easier to identify it. On Derek's calculator, you go to Tools, and you go to Number Properties. And punch in 666, get Properties. It'll tell you right up at the top. 36th triangular number. And here's another number right here. 331. Again, tonight, the Yankees got the 331st win over the Royals. 331 days after the King's birthday, King Charles, and also the Royals manager's birthday. Again, he has the same birthday. 67, you should remember this. We talked a lot about this with the Super Bowl and Joe Montana being 67, the 19th prime. And by the way, if you just, actually here, let's shoot. Here, just to remind you, 67 is the 19th prime. While Joe Montana was 67, the Chiefs became the first team to go back-to-back in 19 years. The winning touchdown was caught by McCole Hardman, his 19th of his career. The game went to overtime 19-19. If you watch my live broadcast of the Super Bowl, I pointed out that the first guy to take the field for either team was Deebo Samuel when he was still wearing number 19, and he took the field 19 minutes after the hour. 19 minutes after the hour. And here, let me see. Okay, about 331 being the 67th prime, though. Again, this is all synced with the King. King equals 67. Kansas City equals 67. Okay? So, again, being aware of these things, it makes all the difference. That's why you know how powerful it is that, Joe Montana, who wore 19 for the Chiefs, is 67 right now. And, just like how the Chiefs beat the Niners in the 2019 season, which concluded in Super Bowl 54, Joe Montana 54. Well, now look, now they can become the first team to go back-to-back in 19 years. Exactly what they went on to do. Being aware of this makes it undeniable how scripted it is. Like even the brain dead can snap out of it. Well, seemingly. But yeah, here, just so you guys can see, King Charles' date of birth, November 14th. Home teams are 11-14 in the postseason. If you doubt it, go count it up yourself. We've been keeping track of it through the whole thing. You can join us on Patreon. This is what we do every day. Get out the information in the morning, well before the games start. Got all day to think about it. And Here, Royals manager Matt Quatraro. Whoops, got too much there. Oh my goodness. Matt Quatraro, date of birth. Oh, weird. Same birthday as King Charles, managing the Royals. Like, if you think this stuff's a coincidence, I'm sorry, man. I don't even know what to say. But here, November 14th, 2023 to today, the day the Yankees close out the Royals, October 10th, 331 days later. And here, let's see if they've updated it yet. They might not update it till tomorrow, but it could be updated. Yankees all-time record versus Royals, including postseason. Oh snap! This shit's so annoying. Anyway, you guys can look it up on your own browser. If it's not updated, just check it tomorrow. You'll see it's up to 331. Some things StatMuse is good for, but their NFL stats are questionable. Just stick to Pro Football Reference for the NFL. Here, hold on. Yankees all-time. Here, I'm gonna try it one more time. Record versus Royals, including postseason. Yeah, they got it updated. And here, I'll write as of September, or not September, as of October, we'll go into the future, 11th, 2024. Oh, now when you do that, it screws it up. Anyway, here, hold on. I gotta switch the screens because I had to do it on the other browser. Right here. 331st win. Yesterday was 330. And again, home teams. I wonder, Harold, let me see if you can ask it on StatMuse if I'll figure this. What are home team records in the 2024 MLB postseason? Let's see if this works. I don't know why I just answered for the 50. What? I didn't mean to write RU. Maybe that screwed it up. What are home team records in the 2024 MLB postseason? Oh, you can go through and add it up if you want. It is 11-14. I assure you. That's exactly what it is. And yeah, again, just there's so much that you can do with this knowledge. Again, it's like I explained tonight. A very consistent number with the Seahawks is 43. We had in the Seahawks-Patriots game, we said there should be 43 points in the final score because that game was 43 days after Brady's birthday. Remember, the Seahawks won their only Super Bowl with 43 points. In that game, Russell Wilson had 206 passing yards, like Seattle's the 206 area code. You might recall that was Super Bowl 48. It was also the 94th NFL season. Seattle, Washington, 94. Russell Wilson's grandpa died at 94 after it. And they beat Denver, the other 94 team, who also has the 43 connection through Colorado like football. But, and don't forget the Seahawks. They began down in Florida as the Miami Seahawks. And did you guys notice that they announced the death of Mercury Morris right before the Miami Seahawks game? The original Seahawks team was the Miami Seahawks. Right before Miami and the Seahawks played this year, they announced the death of Mercury Morris, number 22, on the 22nd of September. And then on Monday Night Football, where you had the doubleheader, we said, well, Geno Smith was on 33 wins in that game at the tail end of being 33 years old. He did lose. We knew that the Seahawks and Miami would move together, and that meant they could both lose together or they could both win together. And we were hoping they would both win together, but we knew that was tough because Geno Smith was already on 33 wins on MNF. But again, just hedge it both ways. Put a parlay together with the Seahawks and the Dolphins losing, and put a parlay together with them both winning. If one of them comes through, you're in the money. And again, I've been talking about this stuff for years, how they link these teams up through understanding the history of the teams. And if you're out there, like there's probably some of you who in the house like, there was never a Miami Seahawks. Miami Seahawks? I never heard of that. Yeah, there was. They became the Baltimore Colts. And remember who won on Sunday Night Football before the doubleheader on Monday? The Baltimore Ravens. These things aren't an accident. You learn the history of the league. You see the clever things in the script every week. And think about it. Is it not evil? Is it not evil to manipulate all these people and their energy? You know? You have to understand, the cabal knows that they're a million years ahead of everybody else. It's like people come in here and think what we're doing is mind-blowing. We're the ones recognizing the puzzle and taking it apart, but these are the evil geniuses that put it all together, you know? We're like 100,000 years of everybody else. The cabal's a million years ahead. You know, that guy that I had to ban in the beginning, he's your typical lemming, just like blurting out shit, just like, shut up, lemming, your voice isn't necessary. And see, he kept going on. Then he started bitching and crying. He should have just said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be a good lemming and just shut the fuck up. Yeah, I might also be a little bit grumpy because I haven't been getting much sleep lately. I've been on the grind. The last thing I want to see when I'm coming in to do a stream and educate is some dumbass in the chat putting out false comments, arguing what he doesn't know that he's talking about. It gets real old. I'm going to take a quick look at the box score here and see if there's anything else cute they did tonight. George Kittle, again, Deebo Samuel and George Kittle both hit their 43rd touchdowns, and then Kittle even got to his 44th touchdown tonight. Seattle 44. And again, we theorized that one of those guys did have a shot at a multi-touchdown game. But I said, you want to be real safe tonight at the player props? Kittle for a touchdown, Samuel for a touchdown. 43 is a very good number in Seattle. Boom and boom. And would have been nice if Metcalf could have picked up his 46th. 46 does play on Thursday, not as well as 35, but for a second there, it looked like he got it, but then they took it back on a penalty. That was disappointing. Again, and the losers out there will always highlight the things I'm wrong about and ignore all of the unprecedented rightness. And again, all of my trolls and haters are just that, haters. And what's a hater boiled down to? A jealous loser. So know your place. Know your place, haters. Jealous losers is what every hater amounts to. You know why I never been a hater of anybody in my lifetime? Because I never been a jealous loser. Okay. Yeah, I think those are the main points, but here, let's look at the scoring in the Yankees-Royals series and see if there was anything to that too. A lot of times the total runs will be symbolic for the series because this series is over. Yankees won the first game 6-5. Now think about this. New York Yankees 65 and 70. You see it? Where's the king at? Is he over in the United Kingdom? Is that where he is? United Kingdom 65 and 70, right? All right, so first game 6-5. Royals win 4-2 the next game. So they were up 9-8. After game 3, both teams are at 11-all. New York, the 11th state. New York wins the series by scoring 3 more. So 14-12 was the final scoring. Okay, we always talk about how 14 is huge with KC. You know, KC's 14. So they beat KC with 14 runs. 14-12 is 26 total runs. Yankees 26. Okay. And 26 is no slouch of a number. It's like athlete is 26. Game is 26. Ball game is 26. Some of your greatest athletes ever, Bryant 26, Jordan 26. Remember, God equals 26. God makes man in his image in the 26th verse of the Bible. Adam 26, 26 letters in the alphabet. You know, God makes the world with numbers, letters, and words in the Bible. If you've never read my first book, Letters and Numbers, there's the opening chapter is all about 26, how it represents God in Hebrew and in English. How, like, it's interesting how bones equals 26 and skeleton equals 101, which is the 26th prime. And there's 206 bones in the adult human body. 206, the key digits 2 and 6. And, they say the body's the temple and Masonic temple equals 206. So, again, there's more to this than sports. But the code, again, just like how in Hebrew, the code pertains to the Torah, the first 5 chapters of the Bible, it's very much the same with English. But it's like they gave a new translation. They created a new language. They synced it up with the calendar. And when I say they, I mean the Catholic Church and the Jesuits. They're the ones who built this system. And they've incorporated it in everything they control, which is absolutely the world of rig sports. And again, for all of you guys who say, why do they sacrifice people? Again, we're talking about the Society of Jesus. What's the foundation of their religion? That God sacrificed his son. That God sacrifices human beings. In the Bible, God's a killer. I mean, does he not kill humanity because he's fed up with them? I don't blame him either. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I should become a believer. Do it again, God. I'm sick of these people too. Flush them all down the toilet. A guy come in the room, he's just already got me all in the wrong mood. They didn't get their 666th win. Okay, back to the special ed. By the way, did you guys see Elon Musk? Did you see him on the stage? I'm Dark Mega. Did you guys see him jumping 2 millimeters off the ground, looking like a special ed character? See, that's what makes me annoyed, is like we live in a society where people can't see that guy's nothing but an actor. You think an autistic guy who can hardly formulate a sentence is some great genius? He's spending his nights playing Diablo 4 online. This guy supposedly has a rocket company, a car company, and 5,000 other things he's doing, but he's got time to play video games at night? I mean, get the fuck out of here. By the way, I'm Dark Mega, his little quote that everyone was saying over the last week. You see the 78? Just like Tesla's 78, like Jesuits 78, like how the media proclaimed him the richest man ever in the history of the world on January 7th, 2021, which just happened to be the 78th death anniversary of Nikola Tesla. Tesla, who wanted the world to have free energy, and this guy sells overpriced electric cars. Fuck out of here. Special Olympian. By the way, go look up the interview of him from the 1990s when he was supposedly one of the 200 new .com mega millionaires. CNN has a segment, you can look it up, from the 90s, and they're talking about these 200 and some new mega millionaires from the .com, before it busted. And he's the only person they bring on to interview, and it's like a 30-second interview, and they're like, what are you going to do with all your money? He's like, I'm going to buy a McLaren, which is a fancy car, isn't it? And he becomes Mr. Car Guy. Okay. Predictive programming a little bit there. All right. There he is, the closest thing to Frankenstein in the month of Halloween. Aaron Judge. Will they be playing in the time of Yom Kippur? Will they do it again? Well, here, let's bring Open Up on. What's up, Open Up?
Hey, what's up, Zach?
You can hear me fine? Yeah.
Cool. So, just want to say great work as always. I know you saw number 6 start off the game with the first big play.
It was over. I mean, that's all you need to see. That's why I say if you guys aren't comfortable before the game, just wait till the in-game clues. I mean, you're sailing the ball to 6. We're going to 6-6-6 tonight. It's over.
Yep. Easy indicator there. Another thing I wanted to bring up was George Kittle. His last touchdown on a Thursday was a span of 666 days ago. And he had 2 touchdowns that game as well, like he did today.
His last touchdown on a Thursday was a span of 666 days from today.
Yep.
Wow. There's always more. Yeah, great research.
And then we know Revelation. I think Itachi brought this up in the Patreon stream. Revelation equals 1010 in
Oh,
Jewish.
I definitely brought that up, and I put it right in the middle of the notes too. Yeah, I brought
Yep.
that up. I mean, I made that point 1,000 times. When that guy
Yep.
called in about how he thought what we were saying was uh, that like 202. If you're out there, you got to stop, man. Everybody thinks you're like the most annoying caller, including me. But he's calling in tonight while I'm laying down the 666. And see, this is why people don't hear things either, because I got callers like him interrupting. He's like, we just got to stick to the obvious. And I'm like, what? The 666th win in week 6 isn't obvious? But yeah, in Jewish gematria, which Derek renamed Latin because Derek is a you know who himself. It was hurting his feelings, the real name of the cipher. But yeah, Revelation is 1010. So
Right. Today being October 10th. Well, on the West Coast. And then Satan equals 10 as well. And it's funny. Kittle had the big game, and we were talking about the Marshawn Lynch Beastquake, and he loved his Skittles, right? So there's a little wordplay there.
Skittles and Kittle, yeah.
Yeah. So I did. I don't even watch baseball or pay attention to it, but I was listening to the stream and talked about the notes, the baseball notes. So I put the Yankees and Guardians to win with the Kittle touchdown, and that was a plus 750. So easy money there.
Yeah, it was, and great contributions from the community. So I mean, that's the nice thing about being on the Patreon is you get to hear other people's thoughts too. It was Itachi tonight who called in with the good reason for why there could be a defense special teams touchdown. I said, yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I mean, you're doing a dollar parlay out there that'll help really multiply a parlay. Again, this guy right here, he liked that. I'm surprised he left off the Kittle part. If he would have threw the Kittle part on there, it would have been $5,000, but. Again, $5 into 1,200. This is what we have taught people to do, how to make small bets, small wagers based on things that are probable. You're not going to win it every time, but there's a lot of people who've done something just like this season. Still, the best one I've seen is $1 into $870 this year, but 5 into 1,200 isn't too far off. And you've had a lot of nice hits this season yourself. And again, I mean, you guys have to understand there's at least 3 channels in the world that are just dedicated to hating and trolling me. The real reason that those channels exist is because they don't want who's ever behind all of those channels doesn't like that we've been robbing the casinos and the bookies. This is what the casino hates. They're not making any money off people who are coming in and placing $5 bets when they're at risk of having to pay out 300, 500, 1,000 on it. And again, through the knowledge, you can win at a fairly steady rate, nice parlay multipliers. So,
Right. And for people who are new here, like I think I've been here 3 years or so. The first full year, I wasn't doing anything. I was just listening, taking notes, and watching the patterns. And there's a lot of people who join your Patreon that these people have probably never heard of this, but they've probably seen it working somewhere. So they bring their own knowledge, which is strictly, betting lines and sports knowledge and things like that. So when they see your notes, they're like, oh, how could this work? How could this work? I mean, these people need to watch and learn because your track record is long. You've been doing this 11 years. So you have to come in with a student mindset. I mean, you're not just going to come in here and like discredit things that have been working for over a decade,
yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. A lot of people have this know-it-all mentality. It's just like I do get annoyed with like a lot of people that are in the community right now because like it seemed like the whole chat yesterday was on the Padres, and I'm just like my eyebrows up. I'm like, how can you guys be on the Padres? I mean, the Dodgers are going for their 131st postseason win, 131 days after Dave Roberts' birthday, when the biggest star of this season is Shohei Ohtani, and his name equals 131 in the most simple cipher. You really don't think they're going to pick up this 131st win? And I mean, it wasn't even a close game. It was an ass whooping. So, again, yeah, there are a lot of people that would do a lot better to listen and talk less. And that's why that 202 caller, I almost just have to block his phone number because I mean, it almost feels like he's a troll, doesn't it? It's like every week he's calling, doing the same thing. calling, like asking all these questions. It's like, dude, you already know I'm not going to cover that until we get to the NFL. It's like every week the same thing. And this week just kept interrupting the stream. Like, I just really want us to take the Seahawks. I like the Seahawks pick. I'm like, okay, well then go bet the Seahawks then, and stop calling in and arguing with what I'm laying down about week 6 and how important 666 is in the Beastquake field. So
exactly. And then the last thing I want to say is, even though you have the 11 years experience in this, we're not saying at all that we're 100%, because I mean, you're not going to find 100% anywhere. Even the best bookkeepers, they're not 100%. They're not even close to what we're doing. So I mean, this right here is the best knowledge, not just sports, but news and everything else. But when it comes to betting sports, you have the history, you have the receipts. I mean, the work speaks for itself.
yeah, yeah. And there's a guy in the community who's very nice and generous, but he's actually like, you guys will see him give super chats all the time. 13 Serpents. I've always found that to be a curious name, but he's been lately in the comments leaving comments like, you can't win with this knowledge. I still haven't won anything yet this season. And it's like, dude, I mean, speak for yourself. You can't win with the knowledge. You haven't won this NFL season. Gambling's not for you. You should have won bundles this season. We've dominated a lot of weeks in the NFL. And plus, we're talking about this all the time. Again, 5 into 1,200 tonight based off the information we had for the game through a community effort. And again, these things aren't anomalies. There's been tickets like this every week this year, except for week 3. Except for, I think you had a nice hit in week 3 off player props, but every week there's been a lot of people who have had big hits. Weeks 1 through 5. We're on the first day of week 6, so we already have a big hitter for week 6. But the only bad week that I've had this year so far is week 3. My player props were good that week, but my team picks were not, and it was a weird week. It wasn't like we did anything different. It was just a weird week. And those do happen, and they used to happen a lot less. But that's why we teach people to be conservative. Bring $5 out and try to turn that 5 into a 50 or 100 or even 1,000, which you can do on some days. And if you miss, then you know what? Tomorrow, discipline yourself and don't waste your $5 on the kind of stuff Americans waste $5+ on every single day. Junk food you don't need, et cetera, et cetera. So,
yeah, and I mean, if you can't win with being on the Patreon, you don't even have to really be on the Patreon, because you're always giving out free information in the regular streams. But if you're not winning, I mean, you shouldn't be betting anything, because
right. And you shouldn't be leaving comments in the chat that you can't win on this knowledge. I mean, that's just a blatantly false statement. So yeah, I might appreciate you for leaving super chats, but when you're leaving comments like that, my eyebrow starts to go up, and I start to remember that a lot of the people, for whatever reason, who have left super chats over the year have actually been like the trolls hanging around trying to act like that they're about something other than trolling ultimately. So, no, I don't like reading comments like that. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if you're having a problem winning, that's you. And, just either learn how to make smarter bets or listen better, but you should have won plenty this season. So,
yeah, and this is the last thing I'll say. I know you mentioned a lot of people who are winning big, and they're showing you their tickets. I'm probably 200% sure there's people in the shadows that are making really, like, a lot more money than that we never see them. They never speak, or they never post anything.
Absolutely. And the reality is that there used to be some guys who were always placing big bets, and they've left because I don't win as high of a percentage as I used to. And again, that's because things have shifted a little bit. It's just like this baseball season, we have never lost on Colorado in 38 anywhere near as much as we have this past year. New York in 39 missed so many times this year. This stuff's never happened before, and it's been a progression like that. Unfortunately, not in our favor, where just long-time winning patterns have become a lot less consistent. And for the guys who are out there, who are the lawyers and the doctors that used to be parts of the community, who like to make $10,000 bets, they've left because they're losing their $10,000 bets too often. But I've never taught people to bet like that anyway. It's just that those guys were the rich getting richer in the early days. And see, that's also part of the problem, is that the rich were getting even richer And I guarantee it was those same guys who caused Vegas to have to make some shifts and changes. Because just like I said, the dentist in this community made $350,000 off the future I laid out the year that the Boston beat the Dodgers 4-1. And then Brady won the Super Bowl at age 41, 99 days later to close out the 99 season. We had all that called at the start of July. A dentist in the world put on a future on both of those exact things happening and made $350,000. And he wasn't the guy who needed $350,000. He already had 5 dental practices and was practically making that much money a month already. But these are the things that have changed what's going on. No doubt about it. You know, I forget what his wager was. I think he only had to wager like 5,000 on that to make 350, because that's what parlays can do when you're hitting an exact future for a World Series ending with the 2 right teams in Game 5, perfectly synced with the 2 right teams in the Super Bowl.
Yep. So yeah, I appreciate your work, Zach. I'm always going to be here. I'll always be supporting, you know, until things change. We always know this is bigger than the sports, but yeah, I'm here until, you know, things change, hopefully one day. But I appreciate you taking the call.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate it. You have a good night, man.
You too.
Take care. When people are coming in here and saying sports are actually rigged, yeah, we've been proving that in undeniable detail for over 11 years. And even before I got here, you should already know sports are rigged because they've looked like a joke for all of our lifetimes. For the guy calling in, I'll take the call, but there is a link to join the stream. 702.
Yeah, Chris from Vegas. Man, you made me some money tonight, big dog. Man, you sealed the deal on that 666 beast thing when you came through, and you knew it the whole time when you came through the notes. You told everybody in the chat when the person called in, you the deal, you sealed his thing, you co-signed on it. You gave plenty of notes, plenty of information for everybody out there to make some money. And I truly appreciate you because you made me some money tonight. You gave some great props, some great information. And if the people are going to take it, they're going to take it. If they're not going to take it, they're not going to take it. And like you always say, you can lead them to water, but they're going to drink it. It's up to them. I mean, how do you personally feel about tonight, Zach? How do you feel? I personally feel, I think you nailed it on the head. How do you feel, man?
Well, it's like I kept emphasizing, the 666 plays in the Beastquake Stadium on the 47th parallel. You know, I was laying out the examples that we've documented over the years, and you got another one. And if only we'd done the research and realized that 666 days earlier, George Kittle had scored 2 touchdowns on Thursday Night Football too, it could have been even sweeter.
Right, man. I mean, I don't know how much more you. I mean, you pretty much sealed it on the deal today. You were pretty confident all day. Your knowledge all day was on point. It's always on point, but you were pretty much today. You were feeling good, man. And when you were talking through all your notes and going through everything, you pretty much sealed the deal that, hey, this is pretty much going to happen. And if your viewers and everybody out there would listen, they were going to know that tonight was a good time to eat. I mean, your prop bets were on bet. Your game was on bet. I mean, fuck, man, you were on fire tonight. I mean, you got to feel good tonight, man. I hope you tonight, you know, you sleep well tonight. You have a good rest, a good time, because I know that the trolls, the bullshit you have to deal with, you know yourself, and you're like, man, why do I have to deal with this kind of shit when I'm just trying to give my positive vibes and give my real shit, but I'm trying to actually help people. I'm not trying to put people down. I know it's probably hard for you sometimes to sleep at night, but tonight, I mean, man, you definitely helped out the community. You helped me out. You helped me out. You actually helped me help my community out. So I truly appreciate you, the credibility, the shit that you do. I've been following you for 9 years. I know you've been doing this for 11 plus. And like I always want to tell you, Zach, I think you're too cheap. Your $20 tier, your $100 tier. I think people need to understand that you definitely mean well. Look at the time it is tonight. It's 10:30 at night, Zach. And when I get up in the morning, when I go to work at 4 a.m., you're up. Most of the time, by the time I'm up, man, and you're up very early, you're giving the headlines, you're giving the news, and you're giving the most accurate information. And the people out there can either listen or they can disconnect. But the true people who are true to you, that really want to support you and mean well to you to help you support yourself, your family, your sweet lady, your new baby coming on board. I mean, the only way this is going to grow is if we help Zach get bigger and better than it's ever going to be. He's going to bring the information. He's going to be on point. He's always going to help us in our best interest. And one thing about Zach, man, he stays true. He's not fake. He calls myself out all the time, and that's what I like about it. Sometimes it's good to be checked by your friend, and I don't take it personal, and I think Zach's a really good dude. So, Zach, between me and you and everybody out there, if they don't want to use you, Zach, that's on them. But I think that you're the best, and your information is phenomenal. And keep doing what you're doing, man. And I think you should sleep good tonight because I think you did very well, brother.
Well, the days of sleep are almost over here, so I'm getting used to just not sleeping in advance. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I know, man. You're always up early and stay up late. Have a good night, Zach.
All right.
Appreciate
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah. Thanks. Take care. Yeah, but yeah, do expect more cranky pants Zach, like how I've kind of been in this stream. And I didn't anticipate being that way, but I do hate coming into a live stream and just seeing some guy just writing crap in the side that's totally false. Oh, they didn't get the 666 win tonight. I don't know, look up stats, so I got all the wrong facts, and I'm gonna blab it all over the chat. Just like, dude, just shut up. God. Come in here and read all this bullshit. Just because you don't know how to look up stats or know where to look. And a lot of you guys, listen, when they put up a stat on the TV and they say, this guy just got his 18th touchdown, almost every time they put up that stat, that's for the regular season. And it excludes their postseason stats. So realize the number that's up on the TV, a lot of times that's just the regular season. If these guys have played in the postseason and they have 7 more touchdowns in the postseason, that might have been the 25th of their career, but they're showing you 18 on the TV. I get that all the time, too, because I'm giving you guys videos and telling you what we were looking at and why we like that. And then I come back and check the video the next day, and the 3 comments like, oh, didn't you see the game? It only said it was the 18th, dumbass. And it's just like, no, I'm not the dumbass. You, who don't know how to look things up, need to look in the mirror. It's just, it gets annoying. So, like, just reading just dumb comments. Is Zach really giving out good calls? Have I not been giving out good calls for over a decade? Again, when all you losers come here and say things like that, it's enough to get banned. Adios. Here's a fact, an undeniable fact. Nobody else has ever put out anywhere near as great a calls as yours truly. We've put out such exact calls. There's nobody who can, you can't even find a person in the world who can match like one of the calls that we've nailed in the past. How specific it was. Like when USA Today wrote their hit piece on me way back in 2016 for in week 3, laying out the exact Super Bowl matchup, who'd be the Super Bowl MVP, and how there'd be a Black Panther tribute at the game, all of which happened. Again, that was the year we said the Broncos would beat the Panthers, Von Miller would be the MVP, and then Beyonce ended up getting criticized for dressing up like a Black Panther at halftime. Again, you can't even find one other person who has a prediction that good in any other world of sports. And then you can go back to yours truly, and you can realize that we have like at least 20 more as good as that over the course of time. So again, when you losers come here and try to diminish and downplay, I just know you're just sorry ass people who need to learn to shut the fuck up. That's what I know. Did any of you sorry ass losers put out free futures for people for 5 years and help a lot of people change their life? And even the time I've had the Patreon, I put out free futures. You know, go back to Super Bowl 55. What was it, like 5 days before the game? I put out the short video, and I showed that from Tom Brady's birthday, from his 43rd birthday to the Super Bowl was 188 days. And I still remember reading the comments. A lot of people got it, but then you got the guy with, maybe 43 IQ points He's like, I don't get it. Because, again, I had a picture of Tom Brady's face. I had the distance from his birthday to the Super Bowl as 188 days. And then I showed how greatest of all time equals 188 and GOAT equals 43. And, like I'd say 25% of the comments were people like, I don't get what this means. And it's just like, I mean, these are the same guys that need to go back to kindergarten. It's like, you need to start all over, buddy. You need to start all over. What the fuck do you think it means? 188 days after his 43rd birthday? What could it possibly fucking mean? Do you think it means he's going to lose the game? Do you think it means he's going to lose Super Bowl 55? Is that what you think it means? You must have been born. I mean, I can't even comprehend how stupid these people are. That wasn't a pick. I didn't know what that meant. Oh, I couldn't figure out what Zach meant today. I didn't know that meant the Yankees were going to win. All he wrote down was that if the Yankees win today, they'll get their 331st win after King Charles' birthday of the royal family. I didn't know that meant that was the pick. Yeah, these are the people who complain about my work. People who need to go back to fucking kindergarten. I didn't know that the Beast Quake and how Zach wrote out number the Beast equals 666 and they're on 665 wins. I couldn't add plus one more to figure out what number. It's just like when I read this shit every day, that the people get down in the comments, I don't understand his notes either. Back to kindergarten. You certainly shouldn't be gambling if you can't figure out the information I'm laying down and which way I'm pointing to in the games. No, I don't. I won't raise my prices any more than they are because, again, see, Chris, the thing that Chris doesn't understand is what I take pride in is not how much money I make from my Patreon. What I take pride in are the stories of the people who said, Zach, you changed my life. Because I liked it better when I was just doing this all for free. I honestly liked it better when I was doing it all for free. I realized I can't do it all for free though, because I did it all for free, and then I decided I was going to go back and teach in school. Once I spent all my savings, doing this for free for 5 years, living on what I'd saved up. But then I went back to teach, and then they wouldn't hire me. They said, "Oh, we don't like the book you wrote. You're essentially you're blacklisted." And I was like, "Oh shit, I can't go back to work and teach anymore." So I was like, "Well, let's just see if we can monetize the sports picks and see what happens." And I was like, "Oh, this pays better than teaching." But again, that's brought more haters. But again, the point I like is I like hearing the stories of how it's changed people's lives. Shout out to Cousin Mar. Cousin Mar was homeless when he came across my video. Cousin Mar turned a $5 bill into a whole lot of money and got himself off the street. And then once he got off the street, he got a job. And now he drives a tow truck. You know what I mean? There's several stories like that in the community. So again, that's what I pride myself on. Had my entry price been $300, Cousin Mar, I doubt he would have got access as a homeless man at the cost of $300. So, and that's the other thing that annoys me is like my hater trolls. They're on the $5 tier, and all they want to do is make videos when I get things wrong. And it's like, don't you understand? First of all, I could sue your ass because it's illegal to take any information behind a paywall on Patreon. It's right in the terms of service. So beware of that too, trolls. I do have the money to sue the shit out of you. The reason I don't is because I'm just like, whatever. I mean, if that's what you want to do and just be a fucking loser and your whole life's dedicated to attacking anything I get wrong because you're a worthless, jealous piece of shit, so be it. But understand, I could go get a lawyer because I do have that money, and I could sue the shit out of you. And it's like my one troll. I know he lives at home with his mom. So then what? Am I going to put your mom out on the street? She's really going to come down in the basement and slap the shit out of you. Look at what you did now, you worthless piece of shit. I told you to get a fucking life and leave that guy alone. Now look, now your mom's out on the street with your worthless little gay ass. It could be like that. It could be like that for the troll who's screen recording right now. If he didn't get washed away with the hurricane. So anyway, yeah, I do find enough. And like I said, I'd rather just be an army of people here supporting the work and bankrolling us like we should so that we can fucking, you know, shove the orange man off the stage and the dick sucker. And we should run for office. Not that I really want to be president, but I'd be a much worthier president. Somebody who actually works their ass off for the betterment of humanity, actually comes here and speaks facts every day, doesn't spend half the year out on the golf course and then going on the podium and lying to people all day and putting big bandages on my ear after the obvious hoax that only fools a nation of fucking retards. That's how dumb the people are in this nation. They think Trump with his big fake bandage on his ear is a real thing. And by the way, I did see somebody in this community doing a stream about how you should vote for Trump. That was a pretty disappointing stream. That person might have been out there in New York standing next to us for 9/11, and you're telling people that they should vote for the chump? Oh boy. Anybody voting in these selections, all you're doing is validating a lie. And you should know better. But yeah, and by the way, you guys should watch the call I made into the congressman's office this morning on my news channel. That secretary, you could tell she was taking down notes about what I was saying. Congressman out of Florida telling people that you must have lost your mind if you think the government could have any influence on the weather. Again, the mockery that congressman from Florida that they put out there. Go look at what happened on his 26th birthday. He used to represent the 26th district of Florida. That was the day our own Congress banned weather warfare. Oh, so you mean they took time to make legislation to ban weather warfare, but governments can't manipulate weather? And keep in mind, that was 3 years after the United Nations banned weather warfare. Again, you guys, this is a nation of people stuck on stupid who don't know shit about shit. They don't know anything about history. They don't know anything about reality. They think reality is false and impossible. They believe every lie that's sold to them on TV, and they can't see through rigged sports. How do you rig a baseball game? I mean, have you not heard about the Chicago Black Sox? You don't know about that whole scandal? I mean, that story's like 100 years old now. How do you rig a fight? They've been rigging boxing matches since the 1800s. That's 200 years ago. You're not caught up with things that happened 200 years ago in 2024 in the information age? That's what I mean. We live in the age of smartphones and fucking retards. Dumber and dumber people. So... Here, about your comment, there's definitely a divine side to numbers. There's definitely a whole organic side to this code, no doubt about it. But there's also a highly manipulated side. And that's what everyone needs to wake up to. Again, case in point, Donald Trump runs on MAGA, the highest degree of the Church of Satan. The first tenet of Satanism is to worship yourself, which is all Donald Trump does. And the way you can understand that that's not a mistake, this whole mega Church of Satan connection, is just to look at what happened on the Church of Satan's birthday, April 30th, 2011. Donald Trump was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Obama was the president then, and Obama had the skit about Trump becoming the 45th president on the 45th birthday of the Church of Satan, with him in attendance 45 days before his own birthday. And by the way, we talked about this in tonight's stream too. We talked about this in tonight's stream. The Church of Satan's establishment date is April 30th. April 30th, 1966. The year of the first NFL Super Bowl season. 1966. Shortly after that was the first Super Bowl season. But look at this, you guys. The score at halftime tonight in this satanic tribute to the 49ers, which is where the Church of Satan was established, the score at halftime was 16-3. And look how many days it was after the Church of Satan's birthday, 163 days. 163 is the 38th prime. Tonight, the Seahawks picked up the 38th home loss of the year an alias for Satan is Lucifer, the light bearer. And when you use numerology, Lucifer's 38. The word gold's also 38, like the 49ers hosted the golden anniversary of the Super Bowl, which was on February 7th, the 38th day of the year, won by Colorado, the 38th state. So 49ers named after the gold rush. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. The pro rig sports, that's not the organic side of the code. Peyton Manning, who can't even throw a football in his 18th season wearing his 18 jersey. I mean, go back and watch the opening play of that game. Peyton Manning drops back to pass, throws a wounded duck, wobbling through the air slowly to his wide open tight end that they got a 10-yard cushion on for an 18-yard completion to number 81 to start the game. I mean, it's a joke. All right, I'm going to wrap this thing up, but thank you, DJ Ward, for becoming a member. I appreciate that. Shout out to Heartless Raven, who chipped in 10. Thank you. Shout out to Dante Reed, who just can't stop with his generosity. On the grind indeed. Yeah, there's lots to cover. Always. Always. There's always a moment to try and wake up at least one more person. And you know, to my fault, I probably scared away a bunch of people in the beginning of this stream by being such a grumpy pants, but I do. I just get so sick of just seeing dumb comments from people who just need to literally shut the fuck up. Again, a lesson from God, not me, from God. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. 1 mouth, 2 ears. A lot of you think you have 100 mouths and 1 ear. You don't. Shout out to Oscar Garcia. I appreciate the big 5. Thank you very much. Shout out to Cognitive Dissonance. All is mostly well. I appreciate it. Shout out to Nima Lari, who chipped in 5. Our votes don't matter. The selections have been predetermined at generation events. Exactly. These people were born for it. The election is just a litmus test for the elite. It is. And the people go out and vote. All they do is just validate the big lie. All right, shout out to Mr. Futures. What's up, Mr. Futures?
Hey, what's going on, Zach?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, so now I just wanted to, because I didn't know if you were like, I quit the stream probably in the last half hour or whatever, but I don't know if you were talking about the video that I did, but I just wanted to come on and clarify like what I was talking about when I did that video about the election. Like in New York, and I've just been seeing like so much propaganda behind this Kamala Harris angle. The point of my video that I was trying to do was just to get on there and prove how idiotic she is. So that was really the aim of it. And I guess I should have been more clear about that. But me personally, I don't vote. I don't promote voting because I know how much of a sham that system is. But the Kamala Harris propaganda was just too turned up, and I had to get on there and just kind of highlight, you know, her deficiencies.
Well, that's fair. And again, what Kamala Harris proves is how many people in this nation literally just let the certain TV stations do all their thinking for them. And my sister is one of these people. My sister right now is just like, she's just acting like Kamala Harris is the greatest thing that ever happened. And it really is unbelievable. Just like,
Exactly. That was the most frustrating thing for me. That's why I felt like I had to get on there and just kind of highlight, you know, besides the fact that she's a Black African American and a woman, like you need to look beyond that. And there's really a strong amount of money, a strong amount of messaging that's going out, and people are buying into it. Like you said, you have some people in your family. I've had some people in my family say some ridiculous things too, supporting her. So I had to get on there and just kind of talk about it a little bit. But my intention with that was not to promote voting at all. It was just to really highlight both candidates, and then really how Kamala Harris is super, super idiotic. That was really the whole point of the video.
well, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, but people still need to understand at the end of the day, it really does not matter which candidate is in there, because these people are nothing but figureheads. They have nothing to do with anything that happens. Everybody was so caught up. I keep hearing everybody say it right now that the economy was so much better when Trump was in office. And I'm like, well, everyone must have forgot what happened in 2020 when it all went to shit, because he went along with the Switzerland agenda and the biggest scam of our lifetime, and locked down people's businesses, schools, churches, and people say, well, he didn't do that. Bullshit, he didn't do it. He was the leader of the land, and he could have kept all that from happening. It all happened while he was the face of the nation. And not to mention, as we've documented a million times, he was over in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, gloating about his trade deal with China and how the world will never be the same again on the exact same day that the cooties, the virus, was confirmed in the United States for the first time. And everybody can go back and check the dates. Trump's trade deal with China was January 15th. They say that's the day the cooties arrived in the U.S., but it wasn't confirmed until January 21st, which is the day that he was over in Switzerland gloating about his trade deal with China and how the world will never be the same again. And he was at the same World Economic Forum that simulated the pandemic. And if you go back and look, you'll see that Trump, here, look at this. For everybody who doesn't know this, you will see that Trump was at the World Economic Forum. You see how World Economic Forum equals 222? He was at the World Economic Forum on the 222nd day of his age. Wuhan coronavirus, 222. That's what they called the thing at first. Event 201, that was the name of the simulation, 222. The simulation was in New York, New York, 222. The motto is order out of chaos, 222. We told you that Trump was the order out of chaos candidate the day that he was inaugurated, and that whole ritual with order out of chaos. And again, for all of you guys who think he's the one that's going to bring us back, your head's so far up your ass, it needs to be surgically removed. And no, this is no validation of Kamala either. They both serve the same evil master, and their rhetoric might sound a lot different. But at the end of the day, both political parties are here to fuck all of us. And that'll continue to be the case until they're overthrown, like Thomas Jefferson said you needed to do. Thomas Jefferson told us the truth, you guys. He said, if you do not revolt every 19 years, you will lose rights and liberties. Now, I read that when I was probably a teenager, and I thought that was the weirdest quote. I thought, we have to have a revolution every 19 years? Where the hell did he pull that number out of? But then look, you grow up and you look at the world and you're like, oh shit, I see it now. COVID-19 comes 19 years after 9/11 and the 19 hijackers, which came 19 years after the war on drugs, which came 19 years after the bullet through JFK's head, which came 19 years after the most troops were deployed to World War II, which was another scam. See, that's the thing. They give you all these stories so you get so emotionally invested in their scams. Yeah. The U.S. should have had nothing to do with what was going on in World War II. Zip, zero, nada. The U.S. should not be involved in any wars outside of its own borders. Point blank, period. All this stuff about, oh, then that boogeyman, bullshit. You come to the U.S., that's when we'll deal with things. Whatever's going on in these other countries, we don't have any business there. You know why we're everywhere all over the world? Because this was never a sovereign nation. It's just like Manly P. Hall wrote about in the early 1900s. He said the truth of this nation is it was founded by people from a secret society who had a plan for world domination. And that's why all this nation does is fund more and more military shit all over the world. And realize everything we do is military. The whole scandemic was military. Where'd all those jabs come from? That's right. They came from military bases. Everything we do is military. And it's always been that way. Again, I'll remind people, the Jesuits published the text Art of War in 1773. 3 years later, this nation was established. It's been at war ever since. I mean, do the math.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, definitely. And your feedback was appreciated. And I should have had a more focused approach and been a little bit more specific about what the video, what my intention behind the video was. So I removed it just because I hadn't got a lot of feedback about the video. So just hearing what you said about it and taking a step back, I definitely saw how you could have took that from the video. So definitely removed it.
Well, by the way, just for the record, I wasn't even talking about your video.
Oh, you weren't? Oh, okay. So then maybe that wasn't the takeaway. But yeah, I removed it anyway, just in case, because I don't want to be. I would never promote the voting system in general, and it was kind of like me just highlighting and clowning around with Kamala Harris, but I don't want to make it seem like I was pro-Trump at the same time either. So.
No, I get that. I wasn't talking about your video, but yeah, the mind control for both of these candidates, it's just on both sides. To me, it's unbelievable. I'm so sick of hearing people talking about how much better things were when Trump. I was like, do people not remember what happened when Trump was president? I mean, did everyone forget? I mean, what? But the Kamala, I mean, if there's not that either of them are deserving, but like seriously, like what has Kamala done to deserve to be the face of the nation? I mean, give me one
Exactly.
thing. Give me
Exactly.
one.
That was the point of what I was trying to say. Like in a nutshell, is just I'm just so sick and tired of people thinking like that she can be the face of what you want to quote unquote call a revolution just because she's a woman.
Here's seriously what I think about it. I seriously think there's real symbolism in it. A lot of girls are learning right now that the way to the top is to get naked on camera on a OnlyFans. You got a Kamala Harris dick sucker for president. I think there's a major message going out with the dick sucker in chief if that's the route they're going, and that's really what it is. I mean, that's not an exaggeration of a statement. So
it's important. It's important to have an opinion, but at the same time, definitely not be pro anything because we understand exactly the system that it is. But yeah, even if that was the case, if somebody even had that, if they took away from my video even a fraction of that, I just wanted to get that up out of there because I'm not pro anything. The government overall is a bunch of bullshit, which is why I got up out of here a couple of years ago. But I still got a ton of family in New York and in the United States, and it's going to impact them directly. So I just felt like I needed to say something.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. So
yeah, it's cool. But congratulations, man. A lot of great information you put out today. Salute to you, and everything you're doing, and especially now with the baby coming, I'm sure things are pretty stressful and everything you got going on over there. So salute to you, keeping the work, pumping out the work, and working every single day.
Well, I appreciate it, Vic. Thank you.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. I'm definitely about to make myself more present, coming around a lot more often and stuff like that. But now that I see that, not all of it, but some of the negativity has kind of faded down. I just tried to keep myself away from all that, just because it was a bunch of nonsense or whatever. So I'll be around.
Yeah, the post Kobe Bryant death era brought in a lot of questionable personalities. So
yeah, it was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous. It was unwarranted, overwhelming, stupid, and it's just a shame that you had to put up with it. And you're still putting up with it, but hopefully people, they'll put their mind and focus on other things. So
indeed. Well, I'm glad to hear you're going to be around more. You've been missed. So thanks, Vic.
no problem. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.
Yeah, again, in a month there will be a little one here, and I will find myself having even less time. And like I've mentioned to people in the Patreon community, I am looking to the best and bright minds in the community. I'm going to need help with the workload, and I do intend to pay people to help out. So those will be opportunities as well. And there's certain people who've reached out and asked to be, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but the people who I'm going to give the jobs to are the people who I know will do a good job and help out others. And, it's like yesterday, I got people, I'm showing you that it's 330 days after King Charles' birthday, and the Yankees can pick up the 330th win. And if they do that, then today, Thursday, they should be able to pick up the 331st win over King Charles or over the Royals 331 days after King Charles' birthday, which is the 67th prime, and King equals 67 like Kansas City. Again, this is the way I've always decoded. This is the way we've consistently won. And then I have people calling in 2 minutes later like, oh, no, I don't think that's going to happen because the moon phase. I'm just like, the moon phase? The moon phase? Again, this shit is not what I want to hire. I don't want to hire people that are decoding based on moon phases. I want to hire people who are decoding the way I've demonstrated that you can win by decoding. Some of you guys have tried to invent your own niches, and that's cool. I don't mind thinking outside of the box, but when you've been calling in for 2 years with moon phases, and at best it's been 50-50, that's demonstrated that like you're too stuck on that and you're not moving on. And are you not realizing that this just isn't working? It just proved itself wrong again. How are you going to go with the moon phase over it being synced with the royal family when this is what we've been talking about for the last 9 years? since the 111th World Series when the Royals won while the Queen was alive, born on the 111th day of the year. So, you know, and people that it's just, yeah. If you want me to hire you, you have to prove that you are a logical person who can help the community. Period. Uh-oh, the gas station must have closed. Oh man. All right, that just tells me it's time to sign off when the gas station attendant hops on the stream. I am going to wrap this thing up. If the gas station attendant can figure out how to get in here, obviously anybody else can. If you guys have any closing words and you want to participate in the stream, now is the time. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this thing up in a minute. But for the gas station attendant, I'm glad you got off work. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your night. But you know, I've given you enough opportunities to come on here and say something sensible, and it's just like you're a wind-up toy. So, not tonight, buddy. Not tonight. I don't like Discord because there's just too many notifications on the phone. Yeah, I've tried out Discord. It's not for me. It's overwhelming. My phone's already too busy. So, and like I said, I built my own website, freetofindtruth.com. Not that many people use it. I've spent way too much money on it. You can get the app. There's a place to share and decode sports. The reason I like this is because like you can use this without my phone just like blowing up and getting a gazillion notifications. And again, I don't trust any of these other platforms because they can just censor you whenever they want. You know, they can delete you and take you down. So this platform I pay for, there's no way, you know, they're taking this down. This comes down when I stop paying the bill. All right. It doesn't look like we have anybody else hopping on, so yeah, we'll leave it there for tonight. We'll leave it there for tonight. I think that's it. Again, for people who are in denial, like, again, come up with the explanation of how it could be coincidental that the Yankees close out the Royals with their 331st win versus the Royals all time, 331 days after King Charles' birthday. And I mean, for those of you guys who say, well, how do they even make it all line up? That is something to think about, but realize, I mean, Charles has been around for a long time. He was destined for the throne, so they've had plenty of time to work out this narrative to make the records get to where they needed to be. You know, it's well within the realm of possibility, obviously, because they do it day after day, season after season, year after year, as we continue to demonstrate. So you have to realize these people are very well planned out. This system's been in motion for a very long time. This whole thing of coding numbers into words goes back to Babylon. You know, the stuff is old. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Vic. That is a good point. And again, it gets annoying too. Just the trolls like playing sound bites from things in 2018. For all the people who watch the hater videos where they just keep playing the same sound bites over and over, It was addressed like back in 2018 also about how we decided we weren't going to hire anybody because I did go to hire somebody and then they did absolutely nothing. And then it created a whole bunch of jealousy because there were 5 other people who thought they should have been hired rather than the person who did get hired who did nothing. And I didn't have enough money to hire all the people. So what I said is, well, until this movement's funded the way it should, here, I'm going to run a website, which I've been running for over 6 years now, where people can organize and network and collaborate and share information. And I said, that's what I can afford to do until this work has, the amount of people behind it and resources to hire 5 people at once and make sure they do actually do some work when they get hired. And again, we had an open discussion about that. I took calls on it at the time. There was a woman named Money Penny. I used to call her my e-mom. She was one of the most vocal people. She's like, Zach, you do whatever you want to do. Like, it doesn't even matter what anybody else thinks. You're the one. She was the most vocal one, and nobody really disagreed with her who called into that stream. We had like a 3-hour live stream about it. Trolls don't play any of the clips from that. You have to understand, the people who sit here and troll and harass me, they're just a network of losers. It's just like a political attack ad. You clip what you want to put in your little political attack ad and leave everything else out. You paint a one-sided picture that's a false picture. The loser troll. I remember, we were dominating March Madness tournament, and then we had like one bad day, and he puts out a video. Oh, Zach went 0-3 with his picks on this day. It's like, okay, we just hit a whole bunch of upsets, no coverage of any of this. So what you're going to put out is make it look like we're having a bad March Madness tournament. I mean, for like the 5th straight year in a row, we're hitting all the major upsets in the tournament. No coverage of that, but you're just going to, highlight the one day where we were off the money. I mean, this is just like a loser way to go about things. So, and again, like I said, if you're a troll, if like that's what your life is, that's literally like you're the definition of a loser. You're the definition of a loser. And again, I mean, find something better to do with your time. You're wasting your own time. For the guy in the back room right now who just got off pumping the gas, I mean, what you're showing right now to everybody, because you've been trolling for over a year and a half. You're another guy. You've been spending your free time trolling and lying and making false statements about me for a year and a half. I mean, aren't you going to look back at some point and wish you did something better with your more prime years? You spent your last year and a half of your life just trolling. You don't feel lame about that? And if you're getting paid to do it, then maybe that's a different story. Maybe it's a job and you're getting better money than you get at the gas station. But I mean, I just think someday you're going to look back and wish you had invested your time more wisely. So anyway. All right. Yeah, I'm done. All right. Yeah, I'm really done. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Till next time.